world's a little crazy, just look around and see. But I believe someone is watching over you and me, because I know He loves His children and He's Lord of everything. So I'll sing this song for Him. God bless the RSA. Victoria down to Cape Town, from sea to shining sea. There's a whole lot of good in the things I've seen. And I got hope and I got faith. I get a little bit more each day. God bless the RSA. My friends love this country, it's so easy to see. They're grounded in this dirt by love and family, and they're dreaming of a future where they are safe and free. So I'll sing this song for them. God bless the RSA. Victoria down to Cape Town, from sea to shining sea. There's a whole lot of good in the things I've seen. And I got hope and I got faith. I get a little bit more each day. God bless the RSA. I know there are good people all across this land, given a chance, take each other's hand and rise up like a rainbow, reaching for a brighter day. God bless the RSA. Victoria down to Cape Town, from sea to shining sea. There's a whole lot of good in the things I've seen. And I got hope and I got faith. I get a little bit more each day. God bless the RSA. God bless the RSA.
Going to my mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. Last night I was on television. I was on a telephone, rapidly rising, and with I don't know. COVID has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's lives reflected in the NHEI. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him in. We're going to seize the ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah. NATO's purpose is to defend against aggression. Let me make that near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway. My mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea. I don't think as the idea that political coverage. I want to thank and recognize Dr. John, King of song. King, good song. I can't get this to function at all. My mind's going blank now. What's happening? I can't remember. I lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are you? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm president. Where am I? No idea.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hey folks, welcome back. It's Friday, December 27th, 2024. Let's check in on the sound quality here very quickly. Well, that sounds pretty darn good. Welcome back to the program. I hope you're all doing well around the world, wherever you find yourselves. Wow, done in by technology. So I made yesterday's video private after the broadcast. So I didn't know that changing the settings on a video that's completed for a live stream would have an impact on future settings. In order to save some time this morning, I set up today's stream a couple hours ago with the same settings. It just goes a lot faster. All I have to do is change the date. The date and time. So, and then the title. That's all I change. It takes a lot less time to set it up. So I did that, but it reused the settings from yesterday's stream, but then it also used the private setting instead of the public. So I tried to post the video and it just showed some weird, go to YouTube. It didn't show my thumbnail. I was getting kind of irritated. I thought YouTube was harassing me. No, YouTube wasn't harassing me. It's just my mistake. What the heck is this? I got something on my hoodie there. There it is. Yeah, so it was completely my mistake. So a lot of folks just finding out about this broadcast right now. So my apologies for that. I went live. I couldn't find on my stream. Like, what the heck is going on here? Look, Christmas is just another day, folks. People are born, people die, unfortunately. A friend of mine who helped immensely with my political campaign this year, his son-in-law passed away on Christmas Day, 64 years of age. Wow, that is too young, ladies and gentlemen. Too young. Now you know why when there's something wrong, I go see a doctor anymore. I don't play Ranger Rick anymore with my body because, it's your body isn't just a temple. It's your only vessel you've got for your consciousness, at least until we reach a singularity for Sheldon Cooper. And welcome back to the program on December 27th. That is slightly off kilter there. Hang on. There we go. Don't like that reflection. And that was because I had that little house or something up there. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get to it. Val Cooper's here. Teresa Shawnee Grows in from Minnesota. Yeah, countdown to the new year. This is the last Friday of 2024. We're going to be saying goodbye to 2024 very soon. Ever since Tuesday, it's been the last of for this year. So, Nick Muller, Chris Sten, Diane Humpel's back. Hi, Diane. Chris Ehlers. Welcome, Chris. Savage Daughter. Freelance Kate is here. Did I say Val Cooper already? I think I did. Allison Johnson. I think I missed Allison. Sorry about that. It wasn't intentional. Jana Liddy. Look at all the ladies here. Dusty, welcome to you. From Cape Town. Christo Els, George Steinberg. All right, the dudes are jumping in now. Monray Siebritz and Jan Thiljonen. Wow, what a brouhaha in America. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have started a crap storm, and they are going to regret this. Not really, but what a mess. Insulting Americans, blaming us for so many things, and blaming our culture, the same culture that of course, South Africa and India have imported massively. Of course, South Africa and India have their own rape culture and gender-based violence culture, the demeaning and devaluing of human life, women and girls in particular. And as we announced the birth of a child to a 13-year-old girl yesterday. Anyway, so people live in glass houses, Vivek and Elon, shouldn't throw stones. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but I'm going to do a separate broadcast on the other channel dedicated specifically to this topic of India, South Africa, the United States, H-1B1 visas, immigration, and the lies and distortions told about America by even our most successful of entrepreneurs and immigrants who simply got it wrong. Elon Musk, as I've said before, I've never trusted him. He's a brilliant guy, a brilliant entrepreneur, and the right guy to cut fat out of the federal government. But I've always held reservations, and his stupid comments attacking Americans, basically calling us lazy and blaming our culture for the problem, ignoring the fact that for the past 5 decades, white males have been excluded and pushed out of sciences, technology, engineering, and maths. We've been pushed aside. And for the past 25 years, I've had to listen to this continued lying narrative coming from NASA, from the Department of Education, from the entire educational system in this country about how women are underrepresented in STEM. It's the biggest lie you can imagine. Women dominate STEM, and they've been dominating STEM for over 2 decades. Why do they dominate STEM? Because men have been told that they're dumb, they're stupid, and they've been fed nonsense for years. Men, white men specifically. And they've been eliminated from society. Despite being 38% of America's population, white men are victims of misandry on a daily basis. If they're Christians, or even bigger victims, and they are excluded, they are pushed aside in favor of diversity, equity, and inclusive hires to the detriment of society. If you're wondering why we don't have enough STEM graduates, well, we do. This year alone, the tech industry in America fired 50,000 tech workers. Now, how many of them were H-1B1 visa holders? Not so many. Most of them were Americans. They dumped Americans in favor of H-1B1 visa holders. So, before these people run their mouths, they ought to get all the facts on the table. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy like to dumb this down to the simplest level, thinking we're idiots. We're not. We understand the rape culture of India. We understand the gender-based violence culture of South Africa. We understand the socialist nature of South Africa. We understand the chaotic ethnic mess that is India and the massive, pervasive corruption throughout the world's largest democracy. So don't come here preaching to us and telling us what our problems are. We know very well our problems with Hollywood, with our fake stream media, with the dumbing down of our educational system by leftists in the 1960s, and the consequent results we have of it today with a bunch of stupid people who aren't bright enough to figure out who the President of the United States is, let alone vote for who the President of the United States is. So there you go. There you go. That's my opening monologue. Thoughts? Haircut makes you look. I told you, George, wait till the beard comes off. And for those who haven't noticed, the beard is another inch shorter. Yep, this beard 2 weeks ago was down to here, and now it's up to there. Yesterday it was there, and now it's there. The beard is shrinking. The amazing shrinking beard. Joe Biden signed 50 bills on Christmas Eve. Yes, I know that. That's old news. Thank you, Newsmax. You're about 3 days behind. Bernard says, hey, Chris, been embarrassed to ask this. What the hell with the drones and orbs? We have nuclear water in Cape Town, no orbs. Huh? Okay, Bernard, no reason to be embarrassed to ask a question, but I don't understand your question. You ask about drones. I presume you're talking about drones affecting America, and then you start talking about nuclear and water in Cape Town, no orbs. I don't understand where you're going with that. Maybe you're making a joke there because you're laughing. I don't understand it. Are you asking what's going on with the drones? Well, I've talked about this. I've been published on it. In fact, it's out in the newspaper today. I have to go get a copy of the newspaper. Well, it came out in the paper yesterday, I should say. So a local newspaper carried my story. Also, I think I published on Substack. Let me get that really quickly here. Substack. I got my dashboard. Come on. Recent posts, drones here, drones there, drones everywhere. It's only got 49 views. Yep. Let me get to the article. Where's the article at? Why doesn't it let me see the article? Well, there you go. View the post. That's what I want. Okay, so here you go. So here's my article on drones, and I explain what happens with drones. If that's what you're looking for, I'm happy to answer the question, Bernard. Appreciate you asking it, but I'm just trying to make sure I understand what it is you're asking. Okay, so here's the link to that, the story that I published on my Substack, because not everybody can get a local central Pennsylvania newspaper. So I published it on my Substack. I thought about sending it to the Daily Friend, but I don't know if it's of any interest to them. Short and trimmed, all look neat and younger looking. Yes, Debbie, and shrinking it up and getting younger. My concern is I'll look too pink and too chubby when I'm all done here. Meerkat says, I think Elon should guard against make comments thinking he knows best, regardless he may be just a normal guy. I don't think he's a normal guy. He's an exceptional guy, but he's nothing special as a consequence of that. So he needs to stop that. Orbs are only around nuclear, nothing around us. I think government is hiding something. Oh, so there's an issue in South Africa as well. Bernard, I'm ignorant of that issue. I'm unaware of that. That's not something I've heard about, so I'll have to check into it. Yeah, no, please. And folks, feel free to become a subscriber on my Substack if you don't mind. I could really use it. I don't really put a lot of time into my Substack, but occasionally I publish some articles. So let me see. I've renamed it Op Center. So drones here, drones there, drones everywhere. The problem with J.D. Vance from July. That was the last time I published, a long time ago. Back in May, I published his ANC shaking down shell. In May 4th, friend or foe, South African ANC tempt fate. That article also ran in the Daily Friend. South Africa, Gaza, and Israel, January, and then December last year. Anyway, so I've done like 10 of these things. It's interesting because they send emails to everybody, and I'm getting about about 40% on average, or 45%. Yeah, 40% on average people actually opening emails. So that's interesting. Why do I have a draft here? I didn't know I had a draft here. I didn't write that. I use a Substack editor. Oh, that's just nonsense. They listed this as a draft. Anyway, so yeah, so that's up if you want to check it out. But I explained the drones. It's a combination of things. It's not what everybody makes it out to be. But there's definitely a problem here as U.S. military installations are being buzzed by drones. Langley Air Force Base, Picatinny Army Arsenal, the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Lakenheath, Mildenhall, Molesworth. It's unbelievable what's going on here. Vandenberg Air Force Base or Space Force Base out in California. All kinds of things going on and nothing being done. Savage Daughter says, leave the beard alone. Super chat or the beard gets it. Super chat or the beard gets it. Elon Musk might be an AI version himself. You might be right about that, Meerkat. Sue Walsh is here. What did Chris Ayler say? Complexion is waxy. Makes Elon's complexion is waxy. I thought my complexion is not waxy. Is it? Shiny, not waxy. Anyway, you're talking about Elon. Anyway, yeah. So thank you for the thoughts and concerns about my friend. I'm going to try to pay a courtesy call to him and his wife a little bit later on. I don't know if they're home, but I'll head over there and see if they're okay, just to say hello. Wow, you're back. It's been a while. Big question to me is who is in control of the drones? U.S. Agency of Foreign Operatives. Well, read my article. You'll find out that it's a combination of hobbyists and law enforcement as well as Chinese spies. And I've pointed out proof of all of them. I have a photograph of the DJI drones that flew over State Route 15 here in central Pennsylvania, just a few miles from my home. I've got that one. And then I've also pointed out the arrest of 2 Chinese spies. And there's a super chat coming from Savage Daughter. £5. Wow, thank you for that. Very kind of you. I appreciate that. Despite the breakdown in British society and the fascist totalitarian state that under Keir Starmer, under the Führer Keir Starmer, the UK's pound is still stronger than the dollar. We'll see how long that holds up. Anyhow, from Mozambique, not at present, Brett. And I'm going to talk about that briefly today. The opposition candidate called for violence, and then 2 days later, he blames it on the police. Looting is still going on. It's a very dangerous place to be, particularly Maputo, but actually at the airport up in Beira, according to one of our viewers, it was pretty bad as well, but not in Beira itself. Bernard says, thanks. We'll definitely read. Well, thank you for that, Bernard. Appreciate that. Yep, so let me go to my home on their channel, see how many subscribers. I got 2 subscribers, so 2 of you just subscribed. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Yep. 30-day open rate, 32%, so... Only 5 subscribers from the app, which means that most people find it because I'm mentioning it here on the program. Turn on pledges. Well, yeah, I don't have it turned. I don't have monetary stuff turned onto this channel, so maybe I'll do that at one point. But Op Center. Fleshin says in the UK, we're just bobbing along here. Yep, exactly. So anyway, yeah, the drones. Everybody wants to know about the drones. It's interesting because lots of people know nothing about it, getting millions of views, getting hundreds of thousands of views, just running their mouth. They're not intelligence analysts. Thank you, JFM. Time to arm our drones and go air to air. Yeah, why not? My drone is unarmed. It also needs a battery charge right now. I've got a spare battery for it. But I'm not operating my drone because the Federal Aviation Administration forced hobbyists to register their drones so they could control us. And so I did that. There was no charge for it. But then it was time to renew it several years later. And they said, oh, now you have to pay. And I said, oh, F you. Then last year in September, they forced people like myself to put radio identification on our drones. Are they paying for it? No. I didn't buy the drone. I bought it perfectly legal, and you've changed the standards, and that's illegitimate. That's like telling me that I can buy a Model T, but now I can't have it anymore because you've changed the emission standards. Nope. You have to grandfather people, folks, and screw the federal government, a bunch of fascist totalitarian hordes. Yeah, and we're exchanging one group of fascist totalitarian hordes in the Biden regime for the incoming wealthy, uber-connected, special hoi polloi of the Trump administration. One billionaire, one uber-rich, one tech titan after another. The very same people who censored us. Yep, they claim they didn't, but we'll see what happens. Goes to find goggles, leather, helmet, and silk scarf. South Africa needs to be concerned as Chinese jihadists come to this country. China's not breaking laws here. Byron, 1958, just got an 8mm film from the flea market. Oh, wow, that is rare. That is rare, Jan. Wow, I'd love to see that. That'd be so cool. I'll bet you'd see a lot of Portuguese, not so many black Africans in that video. Thank you for the $2 super chat and the £5 super chat. Very, it's been a good month super chat wise, but it's not really for me. That super chat money went mostly to Leah, so it's been kind of a salty cracks month for me. Even my birthday was kind of slow, but that's okay. We're not doing this for the super chats, are we? Maybe we are. Somebody down under says that's why we do it. But anyway, we're still here. Anyway. So let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen, on this Friday, December 27th, 2024, the last Friday of the year. Do many Portuguese visit Mozambique? No, not so many visit. They don't. And the reason for that is that Mozambique was embroiled in a civil war from 1974 until 1992. Therefore, very few Portuguese went. They mostly fled. Since 1992, it's been a broken backwater. Some Portuguese go there, but mostly exclusively for business, not really for tourism. Certainly not for immigration. And Angola, same situation, still controlled by the communists who won in the three-way fight that broke out there in 1975 between the FNLA, the Front for the National Liberation of Angola under Holden Roberto, UNITA, United Independent Movement for Angola under Jonas Savimbi, and the MPLA under Agostinho Neto. And so to this day, the communists still control Angola. And Joe Biden is chummied up to them and gave them $1 billion+ to build the Lobito corridor. So we are chumming up to the communists in Angola. Yep. Sue says, I try not to be biased towards very wealthy folk. In the end, we can take none of them with us. Well, I'm not biased for or against wealthy folk, and I'd love to be one of those wealthy folk. What I'm saying is that the connected, uber connected, and elites are the ones who are now going to control. This nonsense, an American, just the average American can apply to be part of the Trump administration is just total horse manure. It's total cock. The website put up by RFK Jr., just a piece of crap. It was shut down within a day. The site's still up, but you couldn't put nominations in after the first day. Yeah, okay. Well, first off, most of us never heard about the website until 3 days after you published the damn thing. And then you shut it down after one day. It's window dressing. Trump is going to pick the best and brightest. Well, I would argue that there are plenty of best and brightest people who aren't billionaires. People who dedicate their lives to saving others, special forces people, doctors, medics. Well, doctors tend to be wealthy. But anyway, you get my point. Not everybody is a billionaire that's smart and bright, and almost everybody in this administration, every ambassadorial pick, every key element of the government is somebody who's either famous, wealthy, or simply connected to famous and wealthy. And that's problematic because they see themselves as an elite who lord over everyone else. And it's no different than what we see elsewhere. The problem is that we have to hope that they'll rule well. And I don't have any comfort whatsoever that this elite will rule well. They claim that they care about free speech and ending wokeism, but then they come up with this garbage about, insulting American culture. It's ridiculous. Anyway, working class are still better off under Trump. Yeah, the world is better off under Trump. I'm not complaining, Brett. If you're inferring that, you're misunderstanding. What I'm doing is I'm doing exactly what I said I would do when Trump won. I said I will hold Trump accountable, and I'm holding him accountable. And by the way, I'm saying this while my name is under consideration for a senior position in the Trump administration. So I've been informed. Anyway, take it any way you want. I'm not gonna blow smoke up somebody's skirt and just simply mislead people. I'm going to tell people the truth, how I see it. If people don't agree with me, that's their prerogative. That's their prerogative. Arthur Chokes, Elon is throttling conservative voices now. Free speech is my behind. Exactly, Arthur. That's the point I'm getting at. We don't agree on much here, Arthur. You come up with some strange things sometimes, but that is what is happening. I've said that Elon Musk, from the very beginning, has never been a free speech advocate. He's been an Elon Musk speech advocate. Still blocking the account of Alex Jones. Why? Why is Alex Jones' account? I mean, I'm not a fan of Alex Jones, but why he's censoring Alex Jones? Now, that censorship, to be fair, took place under Jack Dorsey, but he's not lifted the ban. And then Laura Loomer lost her blue check mark yesterday. Either that or she canceled it. I'm not sure what happened, but she criticized Elon Musk and then lost her blue check mark. Free speech, my ass. Now, maybe she rescinded it on her own. I just don't have all the facts, but it is very strange. Brett says Trump sold you out. Nah, Trump didn't sell us out. No, Arthur, he didn't sell us out. He was always going to pick billionaires to be around him. Always going to pick billionaires. Simple as that. Trump will have sold us out if he begins working against our interests. So far, nothing he's done works against our interests. Tariffs to negotiate to force countries into changing their behavior, working. Mexico, building detention centers to house the illegal aliens that will be sent back to Mexico. That's because Trump threatened 25% tariffs. Canada spending 1.3 billion Canadian dollars to buy drones, add sniffer dogs, and hire border post guards over the next decade. Consequence of Trump's threats. China being a little more subdued the past month after Trump threatened 10% tariffs against Chinese imports. And even the Europeans, their snooty long noses looking down at America, are suddenly embroiled in their own domestic politics, with Germany overrun by migrants turning in Islamistan, and France, the same sort of situation, dealing with their xenophobia, with their racism, with their anti-German, anti-French bigotry from their own governments, and of course the censorship state, the anti-Christian, anti-white, anti-English United Kingdom, all of that going on. So Trump's not sold anyone down the river. He was always going to pick rich people around him, and anyone thought he wasn't is delusional. We were led to believe, however, that he would pick the best team. I would disagree that the best team is being picked. There are several picks who were not the best. Matt Gaetz was not even remotely the best pick to be the Attorney General. Pam Bondi was light years ahead of Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz was a patronage hire. It failed. So there you go. Needs to relook how he's advising him on Ukraine. Dylan, welcome to you. What's this? Somebody grew up rich. Whoa, I got to get to know. Oh, Brett grew up rich. Dad used to teach me that rich people buying ads in the paper, campaigning for people backfires and alienates the hour. Yeah, well, it does. It does. Lucina, thank you for the 10 pounds. Did I not? Thank you so much for the 10 pounds. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I was busy answering Arthur's comment. Yep. So, Savage Daughter. Okay. Lucina. Thank you so much, Lucina. It's good to see you again. Brett, I didn't grow up rich. It would have been nice, but that's fine. He taught me a lot of things. Elon should be removed from Trump's team. He thinks he bought himself a flexible president. I don't agree with that. The reason why I love this show is because everyone's opinion is respected, even if not agree with. Yep, Sue, as long as they're not trolls and hate wankers. Look at that. Arctic is wishing Brett well. Yeah, welcome. All right. Okay, so folks, the garden route is ablaze. 10 fires earlier today, blazing on the garden route of South Africa, a beautiful spot. Okay, so by the way, my streaming software crashed and my video was listed as private when we started the stream. So the fact that 97 people are here, it's encouraging. I'm going to, we've had in the past a lot of moans and complaints about YouTube not promoting our content, and maybe that's true. One of the big comments we had was that people saying they're not being informed. But apparently some people found out about this stream either from the groups or from YouTube, because 97 are currently here. Thank you for being here. Merci mille fois. Buy a donkey or a horse if you can afford one. Yes, and vielen Dank. So, garden route, 10 wildfires across the garden route. On Friday, today, Mayor Andrew Strobel said our firefighters and integrated fire management partners have the situation under control. We're working tirelessly to ensure the safety of our communities. Interesting. The active wildfires in the region include Kamanasi, Windmühlneck, well, that's an interesting name for a town, Windmühlneck, Robinson Pass, Buffelsdrift, De Kombuis, Jongensfontein, Swartberg Pass, and 4 others. Wow. The Windmühlneck fire was caused by lightning on Thursday night. So the fires are apparently under control. That's good news, but still, got to be careful of those summertime garden fires. Well, I'm debating about whether to name someone as the Mampara of the week. And, my candidate for Mampara of the week would be none other than the DA federal leader, Helen Zillow, for stating the painfully obvious. In a podcast, again, she hasn't come on my program, but then I haven't asked in a long time. I guess I'll reach out to Helen Zillow and see if I can't get her on the program. But don't get pregnant as soon as you can. Wow. Thank you for that brilliant advice there, Helen Zillow. Concerned about children abandoned, my father's DA federal chair, Helen Zillow, has told women your responsibility is not to get pregnant as soon as you can. I'm sorry. And does that advice also apply to 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old girls being molested by their teachers in KZN? I'm just asking for a friend. Yes. Zillow said parents must complete their education and get a job to ensure a great future for their children, while criticizing societal role players who are not creating an environment where children can grow up safely and with adequate support. Well, that's some truly earth-shattering news there, Helen. Thank you for sharing that. Thank goodness that you talked about that very important issue. While you're holding parents accountable, the Bella Bill, which has just been fully implemented, completely undermines the role of parents in the education of their children. And your political party, the Democratic Alliance, is part and parcel of the government of national unity, which has foisted this moronic bill and legislation on the South African people. for which black parents will be sent to prison for their children being truant when they have no money to send them to school because they can't pay to get them, because South African schools don't provide transportation to and from school, a broken concept if ever there was one. And on top of that, you are going to steal first language capability from local school boards and governing bodies when these decisions will be made by the likes of Panyazi Lesufi. That moron will now be making decisions at the Pretoria High School for Girls and the Waterkloof Hoërskool. Helen Zille, your political party is part and parcel of this bill. You claimed you opposed it, and you've done nothing to stop it. You left it to AfriForum and Solidarity to do all the work. Therefore, you are my Mampara of the week. Mampara of the week, Helen Zille, for stating the painfully obvious while ignoring her party's role in destroying education. So many families are a woman and children. Where's the father? Not there. Those are people who are destroying South Africa as much as the corrupt government, people who don't take responsibility for the children. You think? She was responding to a question from podcaster Mac G. So she was on the Mac G show. Whatever. All right. Bernard says, with fire engines all over Fishhook to Simonstown last night to find out the smoke was from across the bay. Wow. Rich is a relative term. You think you're rich when you see Americans flying private to come and ski for the day and then flying back. Yeah. Well, I didn't know what rich was until I went to South Africa and I saw the uber rich. People who would drop $50,000 on a party. Yeah. Plenty of uber rich in South Africa. Strange comments are simple, Colonel. It's about centralized power. Communism immediately does not. Communism immediately does it. Capitalism does the same thing when mega rich are unregulated. Well, Arthur, then you probably be in agreement with me. There's a reason why we form governments as a polity to represent our needs, our collective needs. The role of government is to ensure a level playing field for everyone. That's the role. The only reason we form governments is for mutual defense and a level playing field. It's simple as that. The government's job is to oversee, but not to overregulate the marketplace. Capitalism is wonderful. It's wonderful. It's amazing. It's the best form of economics. It is, absolutely. People want something. They buy it. If they don't want something, they don't buy it. If they don't buy it, it languishes, and people have to get rid of it or stop making it. Do you notice how few people drive around in horse and horse-drawn carriages today? Do you notice that? Why is that? Well, number one, they're unsafe. Number two, they're not durable. Number three, they're incredibly slow to get from point A to point B. So why do people drive gasoline-powered engines, petrol-powered engines? Because it's comfortable, it's convenient, it's effective, it's fast, and gets you from point A to point B reliably. Well, relatively reliably. Some people's cars break down a lot, the lemons, but there you go. Why are electric vehicles not the number one selling item in America? Because they're shit. They're garbage. They're absolute garbage. For those who understand the true economic impact, see, that's what we've been sold. Look, if you want to sell me on an electric car because it's nifty, it's kind of a neat toy for the rich to have, an electric car, you know, it's quiet, it's comfortable, brings all kinds of features. Okay, then sell me on that. But don't tell me, well, this is saving the environment, because it's not. Electric cars destroy the environment. And when 1 billion electric cars on the planet, this planet will suffer immensely. It's the dumbest idea ever. Why don't electric cars take the energy from the car rolling down the road and use that to charge batteries? Do they do that now? I think they're trying to do that now. Now, electric cars are not the answer, and neither are solar panels. They're a fix. They're a Band-Aid. They're a plaster. That's what they are. It's not the answer. It's not the answer. All right, Brian Lawrence here. I missed you, Brian, there. Okay. Watch the DA fall to 15%. Yeah, no, Arctic. Look, let's hold Arctic right now. Arctic and I'm tentatively in agreement with you that that's going to be their total. I'm tentatively in agreement with it. I did make a bold prediction in 2021, and there's Osina with another pound. Oh, 10 pounds for my birthday. Thank you, Osina. Thank you so much for that. I always wondered, is Osina, is that, you don't have to answer, but it's like an acronym or short for something? I've never seen that as a given name. I always wonder if it's some sort of created name on here. Anyway, yeah, let's Arctic. Your 15% is as good as anybody's projection right now, and I won't disagree with it. I haven't quite formulated my expectation for the DA in 2029. I think I need to wait to see the municipal elections to make that prediction. So, but yeah, you're probably spot on. ANC will be wise to find a replacement for CR soon, so they have time to build this person up. Yes, exactly. Cyril Ramaphosa would do wise to resign in the last year of his term just like the BDP did for decades in Botswana, so that the deputy president can be elevated, although they shouldn't take Mashatile, but whoever they're going to elevate, so that that person, Mashatile, should be pushed aside on corruption charges. They should just get rid of him, put someone else up there, and not Fikile Mbalula, because he's not going to unite the ANC, but someone that's untainted, and then make them the deputy president, and then Cyril resigns in his last year, goes off into the sunset, enjoys his sofas stuffed with dollars, and then, they get a chance to say it's a new day. Anyway, all right. Electric will never be the answer. The answer is actually very simple. Yep. Haven't seen any improvements except we have more load shedding. Yep. But they don't call it load shedding. It's load reduction. Jose de Silva, solar panels are great for camping. Yep. Well, they're great for my house, lowering my electric bill. I was filing electric bills last night, and I compared my electric bill this year in December. It was $23. Last year it was $117 for December. So, yeah, from the solar panels. And that wasn't a particularly good month. So I had to actually pay for some of the electricity. Last month I paid $10, which is the minimum fee, the connection fee. 2026 DA 20% versus ANC 55%. Wow, look at Arctic, man. He's getting bold out there. I think the DA will go even lower in 2026 because they're not going to get anything in KZN. And if MK makes any inroads in Gauteng, they're in deep shit. They really are. They're already in trouble in the Western Cape. The PA didn't take a lot of their votes, but they will take more of the votes next time around unless Mackenzie blows up his party. One of your gaming names. Thank you, Sina. I appreciate that. One of your gaming names. Problem is they have nobody to put in. Well, yeah, that is a problem. That is a problem. That is a problem. So Helen Zill is my Mumpara of the week. And there's Brett Sessoms. Has Frelimo done anything? What is into for Mozambique? Have they done anything good for Mozambique? Well, yeah. The government stabilized, has been peaceful since 1992 until now. And there's been dramatic economic progress. But when the country was coming from base of zero, basically the Stone Age, it's easy to have economic progress. For 30 years, Mozambique's economy was one of the fastest growing in the world. But it was uneven and it didn't reach everybody. It reached the elites. And that's part of the problem with any liberation party. They feed the elites, not the population that they claim that they represent. Shame they can't cope with the influx of visitors like Balito. Yes, well, what did you say? Frelimo. No. For Renamo was the opposition. Frelimo was the ruling party. Renamo was the opposition. Renamo was a group formed by the South Africans to oppose Frelimo. Leah says, I think we pay the government so we can not fire them if they don't deliver. Maybe you might be right about that. Where are you defrosting, Tony? Oh, is Tony defrosting? He's probably got the heater on his truck so he can listen in. Anyway. EFF will not go anywhere until 2029. They're praying that Bella causes a massive racial uproar that they can keep their temperature. Yeah, exactly. No, that's what they're hoping for. Boy, Arctic is on fire today. You were right. You're correct. The Bella bill is what they're hanging their hat on. They're hoping that it will cause racial discord in South Africa, which it will probably cause. And they can say, see, you need us. There's racists, the white supremacists. You got to do something. Tody, were you in the Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy rabbit hole, Laura Loomer rabbit hole? Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit on this program. Then I'm going to do a stream later on about it. But anyway, the AmaZulu king, Mzulu Kwaswaletini, has sacked his prime minister. Tulasizwe Buthelezi is gone. Wow, the super chats are coming in better today than they were on my birthday. There's Brett with a super chat, $5. And he thinks that Samora Michel had good intentions, cracked down corruption, however he wasn't as smart as he thought, killed the economy. Well, that's what usually happens to communists and socialists. They're not as bright as they thought they were. In fact, Julius Nyeri warned Robert Mugabe. He said, don't do what I did. Don't do what we did. They socialized the economy. They created collective farms all over Tanzania. And they destroyed economic output and hope in that country. And Julius Nyeri warned Robert Gabriel Mugabe in 1980. He says, don't follow our example. Keep your whites. Don't chase them away. They are the doctors, the plumbers, the electricians, the engineers. They'll fuel your economy until your own people can step up and play a successful role. Well, Mugabe did that for 20 years, and then he went after the whites. Yep. Jonathan said, I found out today that the USA fought against the Uyghurs in Afghanistan. News to me. Freedom Front Plus and Action SA are screwed for 2026. Action SA, I think, definitely is. I think that Herman Mashaba's nonsense has really killed that party. Tony said, my truck so reliably starts in even minus 20 without plugging in. Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, Charles says that Samora Michel should not have had drunk Russian pilots. Yeah, they tried to blame on South Africans shooting him down, but there was nothing for the South African government to gain by his death. Anyway, the AmaZulu king has dumped his prime minister. In a letter drafted and signed on Christmas Day, the king said he noted that Buthelez's actions had strayed from the expectations of the monarch. Upon careful observation and verification, I must conclude that some of your conduct is inconsistent with the values and principles that underpin this sacred office. Sacred office. Sacred office of the Zulu king. Sacred office. The one that murdered Pete Retief. The one that butchered women and children at Blaukrans and Wien. The one that murdered thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of black Africans in the amalgamation of the Zulu Empire. Yeah, that sacred office. Hey, Ronaldo's here. Vote for the DA based on their principles, which seem to change whenever they feel like it, says Ronaldo. Welcome, Ronaldo. Good to see you there. Ronaldo, I'm guessing you're streaming today. Is that correct? Let us know. I keep her in tip-top shape. Well, that's cool, Tony. Glad your truck is in great shape. Cremora. Andre Swartz says electric cars provide self-reliance for transport because every individual can produce his or her own solar energy to power their cars to liberate individuals from monopoly and petroleum giants. Come on, Andre. Seriously? You honestly think that you can power your car with solar panels? No. The amount of energy it takes to power a car requires $70,000 worth of solar panels in an average place. And you still can't charge anything. It needs mains. It's drawing the power. It's producing. It's like they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're burning the coal. They're burning the coal. That's how they're producing electricity that generates or nuclear. That's how they generate the electricity to charge your electric cars. There's no monopoly by petroleum giants. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. We have natural gas powered vehicles. We've had them for decades. In America, most of our buses that are used by busing companies around the country, including a lot of schools, use natural gas, to liquefied natural gas to power their vehicles. Charles says the DA have lost my vote. They've done almost nothing to improve South Africa. I think a lot of people are saying that. Freedom from Plus are like the DA, all mouth and no action, says Chris Ehlers. Peter Koenig says DA will never get my vote again. DA was focused on ANC splitting post-GNU. Cyril and Fikela are outplaying them by miles. 100%. Boy, Arctic is on fire today. Is this the real Arctic? All right, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. Is Arctic the real Slim Shady? That's what I want to know. Because Arctic is on fire today. I'll tell you what, he's not absorbing any of those avgas fumes because he is spot on today. He is firing. All right, Ronaldo is going live today, so we'll try to transfer some of you over there after we're done here. Some sick people in this world. Tongat father assaulted 7 and 3-year-old child with a punga. Oh my God, I didn't see that. Didn't see that. Freedom for Plus have at least their leaders actually make changes to the government Department of Corrections. Well, the Freedom for Plus has also accomplished things in other places. But yeah, you got to crap or get off the pot. That's the bottom line of what's going on here, folks. And that's not happening. Anyway, so the Zulu King. So the Zulu King is fired his prime minister. And in other news, paint dried today on the wall. This is me caring about the Zulu King. I don't care about the Zulu King. Rand Water writes off 382 million rand because municipalities aren't paying their bill. Another stupid idea. Governments should not run services. It's not their role. It's not the role of your government to provide you electricity or water or rubbish removal. It is the job of the government to license your vehicles. It is the job of the government to ensure the roads are safe. It is the job of the government to ensure that the borders are safe and protected. It is the job of the government to ensure that people don't take advantage of you illegitimately or monopolies abuse you. That's the role of government. It's not the role of government to deliver water. No. And that's why South Africa's in the crapper. Communism doesn't work. Socialism doesn't work. State control of the means of production does not work. How many examples do these people need? The Soviet Union, North Korea, South Africa. It doesn't work. Rand Water, Africa's biggest bulk water supplier, has had to write off millions owed by cities that have failed to pay their bills. You shouldn't be paying your water. I mean, now, I'm not happy with the level of control that the local township here has. So, for instance, my rubbish is picked up by a private company. The problem with that is that I don't get to pick the company. The company bids on a contract standards that the township sets for its residents. We vote for the representatives, they come up with a plan, and then they put a bid out. A company wins the bid. The township allows them to set a price. And they pick our rubbish up. We sign up with the private vendor, and they pick up our rubbish. By contrast, I can go to half a dozen electric companies or more and get my electricity from them, although I provide most of my own electricity now. So, state control, not a good idea. Not a good idea. Well, in Cape Town, it dried fast. What happened, Dylan? I care about the Zulu King as we're paying that dude $60 million. But yeah, well, there you go. Well, I care about the $60 million, but not about the king. Communism works in Vietnam. Does not, Jonathan. That's a fairy tale. Jonathan, come on, be honest. Communism did not work in Vietnam. It did not work in Vietnam. It certainly didn't work in Cambodia, Kampuchea. It does not work in Vietnam because it's not communism. Just like the Chinese, they have adopted free market measures and allowed limited private ownership of the means, and that has expanded over time. That's why it's working. Also, when you come from the Stone Age, you've been bombed into oblivion, you can come back from that. But it still took them 40, 50 years to come back from the conflict. So, I'm late. Hey, Marilyn, how's it going? What about Mpande? One of the Zulu kings? What about what is a troll, says Sue? Or is that a serious question, Sue? What is a troll? Well, this is a troll. Comes from Norway. But in the context of social media and streaming, what is a troll? A troll is somebody who comes in and intentionally fosters discord. Someone who says nonsensical or idiotic things just to cause chaos and confusion and arguments. And they're often very good at it. I had a troll on my radio program the other night who tuned into my YouTube channel and just started saying outlandish things, insulting the host and everything. So I blocked the person. I hadn't blocked anybody on that channel in a long time. And then he created a new account, so I blocked that one, and a new account, and I blocked that one. Yes, it's not 100% communist. No, and its success, Jonathan, took place beginning in the late 1990s, but especially in this century, only after they began to adopt free market measures, which is what happened with China. That and the fact that we foolishly sponsored them under the Clinton administration to join the World Trade Organization, and then they violated every tenet and rule of the World Trade Organization with no consequences from the G7. So, John Jarvis, I'm pretty sure I could charge an EV with my current solar system. Well, John, you might be able to. You might be able to, particularly a little small Chevrolet, but not my friend's, $120,000 Mercedes electric vehicle. You're not going to charge that with solar panels. Trust me. He's got solar panels. It doesn't charge it. He needs the mains. The freaking battery is the size of the boot. Anyway. Sue says, okay, thanks. You're welcome, Sue. Why did you ask that question? Did somebody mention it to you or what? All right. You want to F and die? Man, this is horrific. A Bolt driver in Cape Town, in Athlone, nearly killed by thugs. Here he is, and now his face is all over the world because this video was shared. Wow. 4 young men were caught on a dash cam robbing an e-hailing driver in Rylands. The driver said he did not suspect anything when he approached the youngsters as they looked young and innocent. You can see one of them's got a knife in his hand. He's threatening to kill the driver. One of them, seated in the front, suddenly pulls up the handbrake while brandishing a knife and hurling vulgar threats in Afrikaans. The panicked driver, identified only as Ali, can be heard saying, take, take, take. The 2 robbers grab his belongings, including his cell phone, card machine, car charger, and cash. Moments later, 2 more young men join them in on the robbery. What's in your pockets? They shout. Nothing, no money. I give everything. They demanded his PIN for his phone as they shouted, you want to F and die? Then they demanded he open the boot before they quickly flee and disappear. The incident occurred on the Hajdi Abraham Crescent in Athlone's business district in full view of a security guard and another bystander who did not intervene. Wow. Unbelievable. Broad daylight. E-hailing. What a dangerous profession that is. We already know about women who've been raped and all the other things happening to e-hailing drivers. Crazy stuff. Jan Fion Solar cannot run a car factory or industry. Exactly. It can't provide the peak demand either. A troll is droll. I'll put mine in CR reshuffling his cat with an ideas. DA will be out of education. Arctic, I think, wow. Arctic is hitting on all cylinders, man. All cylinders. All cylinders, yeah. Did you, by any chance, see the message about an article I sent you today on WhatsApp? Probably not, Ronell. Let me see. Okay. Oh, yeah, I did see the title, but I didn't read the report, and I didn't see the news report. Now, incoming Trump administration, Congress, showdown looms with South Africa over support for Russia and U.S. foes. Yeah. Well, what have I been saying forever? Who wrote this? Let me see. Paul Tilsley. Who is Paul Tilsley? See, this is the problem. These people get the veteran correspondent in African affairs for more than 3 decades from Johannesburg. Don't know who he is. He's on Twitter. Let's go look him up. But I mean, is he stealing my thunder? I've been saying this forever. I've been telling people this forever. Since I started this channel, I've been saying this. Paul Tilsley. Here he is. TV reporter, Johannesburg, joined in 2010. He's got 643 followers. Well, I've got more than that. I'll follow him. Yeah. So, wow, I love this. Anyway, so key Republicans are pressing Trump administration to kick South Africa out of AGOA. Yeah. Much of this reads very much like something I've written already. I'm not saying he took it from me, he didn't, but a lot of this I've written previously. So, and I've stated openly on video over and over again. So interesting, this story. So I haven't seen that, but thank you for sharing that. I'll probably do a video on it. Thailand has unbanned apple exports from South Africa. For 16 years, South African exporters couldn't send their apples to Thailand because some ANC buffoon screwed up export documents and they got banned. Yep. The Thai officials banned the import of South African apples in 2008 owing to an administrative error by a South African official. And so for 16 years, they couldn't send apples to Thailand. One of the fastest growing segments of South Africa's agricultural exports. One of my best friends was raped by an Uber driver. Was a rape victim of an... Well, that's horrible, Marilyn. That is horrible. Sue, to just... What's this? No disagreement. It's not trolling. I disagree heavily with Chris on his alcohol preferences. I asked because I thought if I disagree with respect, I mean, no. Why would you be seen as a troll, Sue? No. Okay, why? Okay, for the life of me, I don't understand this. Okay, I really don't understand this. Okay, anybody that's watched this channel from the inception, or even on an infrequent basis, why would anyone come to the conclusion that you would be blocked on this channel or be treated as a troll for simply expressing your opinion? I've never. In fact, in the early days of this channel, I made naive mistakes in letting people stay on the channel too long. Christian Paradago, that lady who's on Ronaldo's channel that we've got blocked on here, and a host of others who were just actual trolls causing mischief. Look, there's a few people on the chat right now who say things, who interrupt and cause problems, but they're not trolling. They're expressing true views. So I'm not going to block you. I mean, you could tell me the sky is red, and I'll probably chuckle about it. The sky is not red, at least not at the moment. It's actually kind of white. But you're not going to be mistreated for your opinions. I value discourse, and it's the only people who ever seem to be almost 100% in agreement on this channel are Charles Van Olsen and Chris Wyatt. We almost all agree on it, almost everything, all the time. It's bizarre. That's why I call him the voice of reason, because he agrees with me most of the time. Occasionally we disagree. So no, you are welcome to disagree on this channel all you like. You just can't come on and say racist things. One of our viewers, whom I like, said something that was borderline racist early in the program, and I removed it without any fanfare. I didn't block the user because the user's frustrated. But the language the user used, while it's just insulting, and I don't have a problem with being insulting of other people will take that screenshot and blame me and call me a racist for that appearing on my channel. So I removed that for that reason. That's it. So, yeah. And in fact, if we do remove somebody and in an overly emotional or response, I've rescinded removing people in the past. I've restored their access to the channel. In fact, the lady I'm talking about that's on Ronaldo's channel, I restored her access, and the little troll came right back on here and started picking on Erica and picking on Fiona and picking on other people and just being a turd. Yep. So, Sue, that wasn't directed at you, but I don't understand. It's like the Veterans Organization. You know, I get this sense, well, you're unapproachable. Bullshit. I'm not unapproachable. Well, you're brash. I'm in charge. I'm leading. Should I sit there and go, guys, could you all sit down, please, so we can talk now? No. All employees will show up at this meeting at this time. Then we meet, and I ask them for their opinions and views and their thoughts and concerns. It's as simple as that. When in charge, you take charge. You don't sit around like a shrinking violet. Oh, am I in charge now? Is it my responsibility? Oh, gosh. Guys. This is my program. I'm in charge. A troll is a trolley without wheels. Build a pet running wheel big enough for him and attach a small generator, power generator. Yeah. What else? Imagine that an ANC or South African government official screws up documents. Exactly. John Jarvis says, I did. I don't know what that's about. Okay. Trolls are people that disagree simply to attract attention. Exactly. And not just that, they're often insulting and say ridiculous and outrageous things. Richard Lemmer's back. Welcome. People can agree to disagree on this channel. It's only those who swear or verbally abuse others that get blocked. Exactly. Tony apologizes for his Asperger's. Well, do you generally have Asperger's, Tony? I didn't know that. Or are you just trying to be funny? Yeah, Dylan's a drunk. He never got kicked out. Oh, yeah. Well, Matthew is a troll. Okay, so look, most trolls are evil, but some trolls are just people trying to be funny. So Matthew says outlandish things all the time. But Matthew doesn't attack individuals. Matthew pushes the border sometimes saying stupid things about me, but he's trying to be funny. So we tolerate Matthew. But Matthew is our resident troll. And we've, for some reason, have tolerated Matthew. I don't know why, but it's because he's not evil. He's not trying to destroy the channel. But when he came on my rugby channel, he said, it's better content over at Forever Sports. I think I removed that content or I blocked him for 5 minutes. I think I did that because he pissed me off right in the middle of my broadcast. Because it distracted me from my live color commentary and play-by-play. Savage daughter's blood is blue. Well, so is mine until oxygen hits it. What is the conversation? Views that differ. Yep. Okay, what else? John Jarvis, you may not block people for voicing an opinion. The same cannot be said for your WhatsApp monitors. No, John. Okay, stop. Okay, we're going to deal with this right now. John, you were abusive and combative with other people in the group, and it was causing people to leave the group. You initiated it, you fostered it, you continued it. People responded to you, shouldn't have done that, but I told them to stop, and they stopped, and you continued. So that's why you got blocked on the WhatsApp group. It's true. It's true, John. You don't want to admit that, but it's true. All right, just like you want me to admit that I'm 60, you need to admit the truth. Reynolds says, I thought the article sounded a lot like the things you have been saying for a while. I thought you might have found it interesting. Yeah, no, Reynolds, it does sound very much like what I've said. I will read it, and I'll probably do a video about it and say, hey, who's stealing my thunder? Is this plagiarism? No, it's not. I'm sure he came to it his own volition, but it is interesting that a guy with 360 people following him on Twitter gets published by Fox News. I guess I need to start submitting my articles to these people. Anyway. Oh, it's time the British Army. Gotcha. I didn't know what that was. Okay. What else? Okay, so maybe it must be if I fell into a high culvert. Yes, well, Dylan, I didn't say I was 60. I said John says I have to admit that I'm 60. I'm 59. All right, someone's no, it's your buffering is on your end, Tony. You're having trouble, man. It's his site. Yeah, Hardick says 59999999. That's right. We're Sigma 6, just like AT&T used to be back in the day. 6 Sigma. All right, let's move on from that story. 28-year-old man arrested after a 13-year-old Limpopo girl gives birth on Christmas Day. This is what's wrong with society. A bunch of pervs out there. Yep. Family of a youngest Christmas Day mother who gave birth at Sashiku Hospital has welcomed the arrest of the alleged 28-year-old father. The man allegedly approached the girl at a shopping center in January, claiming he wanted to help her with maths. The family of a 13-year-old girl who gave birth at a hospital on Christmas Day said the birth will put added strain on the family's finances as they welcome the arrest of the 28-year-old man who impregnated their young relative. The girl's 35-year-old aunt, who cannot be named to protect the identity of the young girl, said they realized something was wrong in November when she started experiencing severe stomach pains. The aunt said the teen had met the man when they went to a nearby shopping center to buy school supplies. She said the man, who allegedly worked as a waiter in a restaurant in Polokwane, approached her niece under the pretext of helping her with mathematics. This is despite her excelling in the subject. My heart is in pain. He should have seen a child when he looked at her. Wow. She said the family hadn't even discussed sex or pregnancy with the teen, thinking she was way too young for the talk. We were planning to have a talk with her in the new year when she started high school, but someone took advantage of her before that. Wow. So they're concerned because they're saying she can't even nurse the child because her breasts haven't developed yet. Pervs, man. Pervs. Well, I have not reported on this story because I didn't want to rain on this lady's parade. I don't have all the facts, but now that the toilet paper of record continually runs stories about this woman and keeps promoting this story, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. Yes, because now it's pissed me off. So, I just raised money for Leah, who was robbed. This lady created a situation and refused to deal with it in a proper fashion and then look for help, and people gave their money. So only South Africans can do this. Woman in Dubai bank ordeal coming home after Mzansi rallies to pay her loan. Only South Africa can do this. Really? Really? Only South Africans. I'm sorry. I'm not a South African. Did we not help Leah? Did I not promote and foster this? Only South Africans can do this. Bullshit. Did we not create GoFundMe? It wasn't South Africans. You got back a buddy. You copied GoFundMe. Anyway, South African woman Bongile Ntombela has been trapped in Dubai after banks got her travel ban because of her debt to the United Arab Emirates. Last week, IOL reported that Ntombela was pleading for help to pay off her loan of 120,000 rand to be able to leave the United Arab Emirates, where she'd migrated to. She made a video on TikTok explaining how she found herself in a precarious position. Following the outpouring of support, the woman is due to arrive in South Africa next week after people from all walks of life rallied and made financial donations towards the unpaid loan. She said, I've tried all I could over the last 3 months to try and resolve this. Eventually, when I get a job in South Africa, when I got a job, I approached the bank and said, we can work on an agreement where I can pay you. At no point did I not want to pay them, and that is what frustrated me to say that. Here's the problem. She is saying she doesn't have a job in Dubai, yet tens of thousands of people are migrating to Dubai every month, every year for jobs. They're all working. So why can't she find a job suddenly? And why did she take out a 120,000 Rand loan? And why is she expecting other people to pay it back now so she can come home? Sorry, empathy is not very high in this situation. Not very high. She told Newsroom 24 that unlike many people who run away from their financial obligations, she had opted to stay and solve things with the bank, but the situation only worsened. I know I messed up big time, but then there's nothing I can do to change decisions I made. I could have left earlier and not pay the loan and run away like the rest of other people chose to do. I chose to stay and figure things out. Well, figuring things out was passing your debt on to suckers. That's what figuring things out was. Sorry, I'm not empathetic in that situation. Mozambique's opposition leader accuses police of fanning post-poll unrest. Things are crazy in Maputo. Mozambique's main opposition leader, Venancio Mondlane, yesterday accused security forces of encouraging looting and unrest to allow the ruling party to declare a state of emergency after contested elections. The problem with that, ladies and gentlemen, is that just before that, the same gentleman has threatened chaos. Yes, that's right. Just 2 days before that, tensions mounting in Mozambique with judges about to rule. After they ruled, it was threatened chaos by that same opposition leader. He threatened. Opposition leader Venancio Mondlane claims the vote was rigged and threatened violence, calling for the V8 demonstrations. So 2 days later, after calling for violence and threatening violence, when the courts decide against him, then he blames the police for the violence. I'm sorry, aren't you the one that threatened the violence and initiated it? 69 criminal alien invaders have died in a shipwreck off the coast of Morocco. Stop going to Europe. Fix your broken countries. At least 69 people died in a boat headed from West Africa to the Canary Islands, capsized off Morocco on December 19th. Malian authorities said, as the data showed, deaths of migrants attempting to reach Spain surged an all-time high in 2024. Stop going to Europe. All right. One of my viewers, Deborah Peterse, who assumes she's a viewer, but she follows me on TikTok too, is very upset. Her either pet or whatever they are, the chickens were stolen and someone ate them. So prepare for profanity. If you've got children in the room, block their ears or send them out of the room because I'm going to read what she said right now. So I'll give you a countdown of 5 to get them out of the room, or put your video on silent until I put my hand back up and give you a thumbs up. When I give you the thumbs up after this, but this is violent. This is profanity. So here we go. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, One, the fucking savage scum stole my babies last night. May whoever eats them choke on their bones. I hate this fucking country and the criminal scum in it. You're hungry because you're a lazy C-word, unt. I'm out. Last straw. Fence was cut. All right, the profanity stopped. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is from Debbie. She's very angry about her chickens. So here's her chickens that apparently were stolen, and looks like a Rhode Island, Plymouth Rock there is one of them. Yep. So Kane in the Barb says it's going to be cooked for Christmas. It's just chickens. Chill the F out. Well, you should shut up, Kanan the Barbarian, because you're an ass. These were important to someone. And there's the theft. So, yeah, that's like telling someone that has no children and lives alone who has a dog and someone poisons. Just get over it. It's just a pet. Anyway. What's this? You want to be a cheese? What's this? You can go to Dubai to find a job. You find a job. Exactly, Arctic. That's how it works. Someone in the WhatsApp channel did Eric and then got upset when treated the same way. Still, bitch. Yep. Charles. Yep. He's trying to get the such blatant entitlement. Sadly, it's become the norm in the country now. Not just a chicken; it's a pet and livelihood. Exactly, Marilyn. That's the problem I have with it. So, and Debbie follows my channel, so I felt that I should talk about it. All right, the next several screens I have are a whole bunch of things, and I'm not going to go into them. I'm going to save that for later because I wanted to talk about this issue. So the issue is Vivek Ramaswamy. I'll just talk about it briefly here. It's the U.S. news for today. A MAGA civil war supposedly is broken out on Twitter because of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. So I talked about this at the beginning. Axios says that a MAGA world civil war erupted over Christmas when a social media post on American culture turned into a pitched battle over race, immigration, and billionaires versus the working class. That's what Axios has to say. It sets up a tense MAGA versus Doge moment that could infect the early stage of President Trump's second presidency. Okay, so the skirmishes started Sunday when Trump named venture capitalist Sriram Krishnan as his advisor on artificial intelligence policy. Krishnan's appointment triggered an anti-immigrant Indian backlash on social media, particularly given his past advocacy for lifting caps on green cards. Vivek Ramaswamy escalated the conflict into a full-blown war on Thursday with a post on Twitter blaming an American culture that venerated mediocrity over excellence for the growth in foreign tech workers. And that was factually incorrect and racially insensitive and anti-American. Vivek Ramaswamy should apologize for the way he wrote that post. It was wrong. He says a culture that celebrates a prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock or the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers, Ramaswamy wrote, calling for 1950-style Sputnik moment to prioritize nerdiness over conformity. Except that Vivek Ramaswamy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. American culture always venerated celebrities and faux heroes like that back when we led the world in everything. So it's not a new development. It's just that you see it more. Nerds were always outcast in school. When I was in high school in the 70s and 80s, nerds were outcast. They weren't the cool kids. The cool kids were the prom queen and stuff like that. That's always been the case. And we led the world in everything. We built the Panama Canal. We built aviation. We built space travel. We built space exploration. We developed polio vaccines. We freed the world. We did all of this while those cultural traits were always present. Vivek Ramaswamy has got his head so far up his ass because he's so full of his Indianness, he's full of curry. Stop being an ass. Stop being an ass, Vivek. You know, I've supported you, but this is juvenile tabletop analysis. America's always excelled. What has changed is that our education system has been dumbed down to the lowest standards. How many times do I have to tell these privileged, arrogant elites like Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk and Donald Trump, well, how many times do I have to tell them that what has changed in this country is what the rest of us don't get? Vivek, Elon, and Donald Trump all went to private schools and elite universities financed by their families. I went to public school where I wasn't even required to take mathematics 2 years in high school. I was only required to take 2 years of English in high school to graduate. Where I was only required to take one class in American government and no classes in history to graduate high school. What kind of standards are those? Now, I took much more than that. on an elective basis and stayed fully engaged in high school, despite the fact I was busy milking cows at 5 o'clock in the morning and 5:30 every night. That's the problem. Plus the misandry, the demonization of the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant male who built this country. I don't want to hear this nonsense. It was built by multiple cultures. Yes, everybody played a role. But the predominant aspect of this country from 1776 until 1960 was the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant male who led the politics, who led industry, who led this country, and other people contributed, but they led. They forged the Pacific Highway. They forged the railroads. They forged the steel industry. They forged America's dominance in the world. They did it. But they've been demonized since my birth. Oh, white men, they're racist, they're misogynist. And what has happened? White men have been excluded from every aspect of society. Turn the television on in this country right now. You will not see white men on any freaking commercial unless they're in the background. Every time, even on stupid streaming sites, all the businesses I will no longer do business with, the list just keeps growing. It just keeps growing. I'm not doing business with racist corporations that run ads showing me that everybody in America is black, because they're not. I lived in countries where everybody's black. Stop distorting what's going on. Stop normalizing lies about America. Stop your misandry against men, especially white men. The nonsense. For decades, we've been told that, well, women aren't in STEM. Oh, black people aren't in STEM. So NASA's going to recruit in East LA. That's full of Hispanics, by the way. We're going to recruit women. And white men are pushed aside. Is it any wonder why white men are on the bottom rung of economic achievement in this country these days? Because they've been demonized by a corrupt, bankrupt society with the likes of rich, privileged elites like Donald Trump, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Elon Musk, who have earned their way in the world, who've accomplished incredible things. But they don't get the heartbeat of America. Trump thinks he does, but if he's put all these rich people around him who've never achieved based on striving and suffering, different story. Sorry. Not going to tolerate it. Not going to tolerate it. What else? Schools are too busy focused on showing trans. Exactly right. That's exactly what's going on. Too busy with that nonsense. 85 people. Wow, we dropped from 103. That was a long time ago. We had 103. It was back at 1150. Yeah, the planning is most important. This is. Look, some people are going to infer that this is anti-Trump. It's not. I voted for him enthusiastically. He's going to be a brilliant president. The country's going to come back. We're going to do well. But let's not pretend that this is about the middle class. It was never about the middle class. It's about the middle class being angry and voting for change, and that's what we did. But this system is rigged against us. It's rigged against us. Jenkins says, Colonel, you're spot on. The same shit's gone on here in South. Exactly. The elites at News 24, the Koos Beckas, all those people, the wealthy elites, white and black, they don't give a flip about you. The Rob Hersoffs, they don't care about you. They don't care about you at all. The Louis Liebenbergs, they don't care about you. The Oppenheimers don't care about you. Malema doesn't care about you. Ramaphosa doesn't care about you. They don't care. Because they profit and do well in the system. They distort the system. Capitalism is fundamentally undermined when educational outcomes are lowered to the lowest common denominator. This constant assault on Christianity, on morality, on white men, on white people in general, but white men specifically, is the reason America's in the crap. Now, I'm going to fade back to 1960, when virtually everybody that worked for NASA was a white man. Was that right? No, because people were excluded. But you can't deny that all that progress was achieved by white men. And don't give me the movie about the black women whose mathematics skills in the basement were the only reason we ever had space travel. Yeah, they played a role. But that's nonsense that they're solely responsible for what's going on. It's like the movie that's out now by Tyler Perry. Oh, venerating the black female postal workers in the Second World War as if they were heroes. They weren't at Battle of Bulge. They didn't take Berlin. They didn't land on D-Day like my grandfather did. No. They moved boxes and letters in England in safety. It doesn't diminish their contribution, But don't play it up as if they're the big heroes of the war. They're the reason we won the war. I've been deployed. We didn't get mail. We didn't die. We didn't suffer. Our morale didn't collapse because we get mail. It's helpful. It's useful. But the person pulling the trigger on the front line is making all the difference in the world. So stop with the lies and distortions. Utter nonsense. Jeez. It's like the civil rights movement was all black. That's bullshit. The civil rights movement was full of white people, especially Jews. Just like the Freedom Charter was full of Jews who contributed to South Africa's Freedom Charter and its independence. Just total nonsense. People distorting history. I'm sick of it. Rion Round says, the thing is, it's too easy to do business with black. I don't understand what your question is there. Point is there. Mahalisburg. I'm talking about where you live. Okay. Hot Beast bought them. Springfield, they eat cats. Yeah, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Savage Daughter says, Greg, in South Africa was assaulted because you're white in English. Now in UK, it's the same. I've been assaulted physically because I'm white in Africa. I've been called Mzungu. I've had people try to sidle up to me at bars and try to get money from me and try to hoodwink me and put me in all kinds of deals. I have people that assume that I'm rich or I'm a certain way because of my skin, which makes it ironic. I saw this stupid video on TikTok of this idiot in Ireland, a black woman. Oh, this town is too quiet here. There's nothing going on. It's dead. I mean, this is terrible. There should be noise here. I miss it. I miss the city. And what's wrong with the Irish people? They don't know how to react to a black person. Don't know how to react to a black person. Well, maybe you should get the fuck out of Ireland. Just saying. It's not a land of black people. If you've got an Irishman who comes to Guinea-Bissau and doesn't know how to react to black people, then you got an issue. But if you live in a remote rural village in Ireland where not a black person has ever lived, and most of these people don't see black people, and you're different, stop being such an ass racist. When I walk around, kids stare at me in Africa. The ghost. I've been called a ghost in Africa. Are my feelings hurt? No. Are kids racist? No. You're different. You look different. We are ingrained to recognize the different, the other. Why? Because saber-tooth cats would eat you otherwise. You fucking morons. I'm sick of this bullshit. I'm sick of it. Stop the nonsense. This woman in Ireland, the Irish don't know how to react to black people. Really? Be a white person and walk through a village in Chad. And see how many kids come up and touch your skin to see if it's real. Call you Mzungu. Call you a ghost. Watch white kids do that in Ireland. They'll be called racist by black people who are idiots. Fortunately, most black people aren't idiots. Just like most white people aren't idiots. Only a small number. But I'm sick of this nonsense. Maths didn't give the test pilots the balls to go to space. Exactly, Arctic. Exactly. Not knowing if they're going to blow up in that rocket. Yep. The problem I have is all whites are painted with the Oppenheimer brush. 90% of us are poor and struggling, but that is not the perception of the majority in South Africa. In South Africa, Charles, 90% of whites aren't struggling. No. A significant percentage are. Significant percentage, and an even higher percentage, but not 90%. You're embellishing there, Charles. We'll disagree on that one. I would say that probably about 25 to 35% of white South Africans are suffering badly. And then another 30% are struggling. But yeah, half of white South Africans are living in the lap of luxury. They're fine. They're not going to suffer. Yep. Oh, I used profanity, and now my thing is I'm getting a buffering on my end. Hopefully, I'm not buffering. I'm still live. Let's see if we're still live or not. Yeah, I'm live. Okay. Yep. Okay. I was buffering over here, so. Yeah, ANC had a lot of Jews in it when they first started, but now are conveniently overlooked. Yes, yep, Ronnie Caswell, that's one. Jenkins, 20 years ago, we said save the rhino. African Idiot says spot on. I see the same crap here. People will wake up only when it comes to the front door. Exactly. Jews were against the whites in South Africa. Many of them funded ANC operations. Yeah, Jonathan, I don't agree with your statement. I would say that many Jews were opposed to the National Party's racist policies. I wouldn't say they're against whites, since many of the Jews are actually white. They weren't against themselves. It's an effing goat, says Chris. We used to dress in all white clothes in Chad just to freak out the locals. That would do it. That would do it. Still fighting with my racist mom, says Dylan. Oh, sorry to hear that. In the Army, there was a rivalry between Sudis and... Oh, yeah, well, you got that too. Yeah, that's the thing that over gets looked. In New York, there used to be signs. The true story, and this isn't an urban myth. It's true. No blacks. Sometimes it said the N-word. No dogs. No Irish. Irish were not welcome. It's changed a lot in the last 10 years, Colonel. I'm not one of the rich ones. All I'm saying is that virtually all the white people know. Yeah, no, Charles. Yeah, but it's not 90%, brother. Come on. I was shocked when I got racially abused in Japan. I'm not sure why I was shocked, though. Yeah, no, I also got not racially abused, but got some less than friendly things on one or two occasions in Japan myself. Japanese are very xenophobic and by and large anti-foreigner. They really are. They tolerated them for the World Cup, put on a good face, but other than Yokohama, go live somewhere else. You're not so popular as a gaijin. Arctic loves a good saber-toothed kitty. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. The saber-tooths are eating the rhinos. The saber-tooths are eating the rhinos. That's funny. 97 people currently here. Welcome for the upsurge. People coming back. Appreciate you joining us here today on the program. It is Friday, December 27th, 2024. You may have missed some profanity in the last segment, but that did come out. No apologies. It wasn't necessary. We're making a point. Look, again, to be very clear to folks, I have no problems with the Trump administration. I think it's going to do great, wonderful things. However, I'm not going to sit here and be Miss Mary Sunshine and look the other way when Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk misrepresent what's happening in America. Look, the American culture definitely is a narcotic to anesthetize the masses. But the masses didn't dumb down the schools. The elites did that. The elites dumbed down our schools. The elites dumbed down our education. The elites introduced diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is a lack of diversity. It's inequality, and it's exclusivity. That's what it is. It's not DEI. It's completely the opposite. They destroyed America, and it's up to us to save it. The working class are part of that. Now, what I find fascinating is the constant effort to demonize and delegitimize the people who vote for Trump by talking about a bunch of toothless oaks. First off, those are all my teeth. No toothless here. Second, I have more education than the vast majority of these so-called elites with undergraduate, postgraduate work, speaking multiple languages, and having worked in the halls and corridors of power at the highest levels in the United States and abroad. So these people who demonize those who vote for Trump, like myself, and act as if we're uneducated fools that don't understand things, don't know what they're talking about. The problem is that we continue to put elites in positions who are disconnected from society. Elon Musk may claim that he's a free speech advocate. He may claim that he loves Americans, and that may very well be true. But he certainly doesn't get us if he thinks that saying this nonsense about America is going to explain things. It completely ignores the fact, well, we have to have the H-1B1 visa program because the only reason our tech industry survived because Indians are coming. Balderdash. The tech industry has sacked 50,000 workers this year. The vast majority of them Americans. The vast majority of Americans, not H-1B1 visa holders. They've sacked Americans. They fired 50,000 people this year. America can produce the best engineers. It can produce the best doctors. My doctor is white and American, and he's fantastic. We can produce them, and we can produce some numbers. Elon Musk says, when I went to Florida Tech or Florida State, or whatever the hell university went to, all the people there, only 10 were Americans. Yeah, because they're excluded. They're excluded from the school. They're denied entrance. White Americans can't get into elite schools unless they're connected. They're denied entrance in favor of less qualified candidates. And then they have the likes of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy turn around and say, well, Americans are drunk on their culture and the Kardashians and the Simpsons and they're dumb and lazy. That's why they... Shut up. Stop discriminating against us. Stop denying us opportunities. Stop keeping us from getting government jobs. Stop keeping us from getting industry jobs. Instead of hiring the best people at SpaceX, every time we turn on your launches, it's a bunch of libtards on there. It's all women, all Asians, all gays. White men are an afterthought. 38% of the population, and none of them are on your screen. That's artificial. But when we pan to the control room where all the work is done, 90% of the people in there are white men. Funny how that works, Elon, Vivek, Siram. Unbelievable. They are part of the problem. SpaceX. You guys have watched the streams with me. We've watched the launches. It's all about the chicas. It's all about the gays. It's all about the Asians and Indians. But when they pan to the control room, almost everybody working there is a white male, all in their 50s. Charles, we've been going through this for 5 decades. We're just a much bigger country, and it took much longer to penetrate every level. It took longer. We've been doing this since the 70s. When the leftists left their radical, burning bras and burning down our campuses in the 1960s, they rolled into government jobs because they're too lazy and too stupid to succeed as entrepreneurs in the private sector. They did that. Meanwhile, those who were dedicated, hardworking Americans became entrepreneurs after they did their military service. They became entrepreneurs and built businesses that became huge, like Perot Systems and his predecessor, Electronic Data Systems, and companies like that, only be undermined by the leftists who moved into politics from education and perverted politics as well, and then sold us down the river to offshoring all of our industrial production. And then when we offshored it, then the answer was, well, we don't have enough school resources here. We got to bring people over. It's all lies. All lies. Until a world war, they want us to be there. I can't see what that is. Is it peasants? Okay. When chief engineer sat on the hiring interviews, I asked specific questions to the candidates that they should know. I hired the right people. They're still there. Tony, I did the same thing. When I was the chief of Office of Security Cooperation in Monrovia, we needed a local hire. We have a position for a administrative person who works our programs. And the HR office gave us 50 CVs. Now, it's Liberia. Many people are functionally illiterate because of the war. They didn't get a proper education. They don't write very well. It's Liberian English, which is pidgin English in some respects. Anyway, so we went through 50 applications. I took my NCO. I took my Navy Lieutenant Commander. I had them go through it, and I said, rate all of these. From the ones we rated, we didn't come up with a set number, how many we're going to look at for an interview. We just rated them. And those who, when I decided what the threshold was going to be, 17 people. We interviewed 17 people, including a assistant to the Minister of Defense, someone at the law school, and some other people. We interviewed 17 people. Of the 17 people we interviewed, which took a lot of time and effort, because I knew this was an important hire and that person would likely be there for years, and we don't want to make a mistake. And I was working 16-hour days, by the way, folks, 7 days a week. So, this is what effort I put into hiring somebody. So from the 17, we interviewed 3 people for a second interview. We interviewed 17 people. We brought 3 people back. The 3 people we brought back was a guy who was a journalist, a person who was that assistant to the Minister of Defense, and a 19-year-old police officer who had graduated first in the academy at the Liberian Police Academy and was so good they kept her as an instructor there before she went out and worked on the streets as a cop. Of the 3 people that we interviewed for the second time, we hired the youngest candidate. We hired Zooey Cully to be our assistant in the office. She stayed there for a decade and was immeasurably invaluable. I didn't pick based on gender. I didn't pick based on race because they're all black. Didn't pick based on faith. Some were Muslim, some were Christian. That had no bearing whatsoever in the decision to hire the person. I picked the person that, in my view, based on their CV, what their accomplishments, what was going on, how they responded, and the feeling I got from their capability to achieve, I picked the best candidate. Now, I will tell you that of the 3 candidates who came back, the one who worked for the Minister of Defense was arrogant, assumed the job was his, didn't do anything. We hinted at them. We said, basically said that, when you come back, we're going to ask you more questions about why you want the job and so on. The only candidate who actually took the time to do some research, to learn about our office and ask us questions. When I hire somebody, I want the candidate to ask me questions. I want you to ask me questions about, what your responsibilities would be for me, what the plans for this organization is. Is it going to grow? Will there be more opportunities? Will I have a chance to travel? I want to know what you want to know when I hire someone, not just a CV. When you hire off a CV, you fail miserably. You have to look the whole person, and that's how we hired. And Zooey was incredible. I got 3 of my successors writing to me, sending me email while I was still in the Army and still in Africa, thanking me. I'm like, what's this for? Man, this Zooey you hired, she's amazing. She's amazing. Thank you for hiring her. Yep. Exactly, Tony. And I interrogate people about their CV, Such a pro tip to have the person being interviewed to ask questions. Exactly, Shawnee. And I've never been in the private sector until I retired. And this is what I was doing. It doesn't, see, this is the thing. And Donald Trump, are you listening? Are you listening, President Trump? Vivek Ramaswamy, are you listening? Elon Musk, are you listening? The best and brightest aren't Harvard graduates. The best and brightest aren't generals. The best and brightest aren't entrepreneurs. The best and brightest aren't waiters. They aren't cooks. They aren't restaurateurs. The best and brightest are the best and brightest. The people with the most potential come from all walks of life. Some people become the best in spite of the circumstances that they surrounded by or that they grew up in. By all accounts, I should have been a drug dealer or a criminal. My childhood, my upbringing, I should have been on the wrong side of the law. But I do what's right, moral, and just. And that's why I take such umbrage at cheaters and scumbags and people who take shortcuts and those who lie for political gain. I refuse to do that. And I didn't do it in my political campaign. I told the truth each and every time. When I was asked about my view on abortion, I stated it. And then people lied about my position. They told people it wasn't even what I said. It wasn't even what I said. Unbelievable. Charles, the best and brightest tend to be those with experience in life. Yes, to a degree. To a fair degree, that's true. But I didn't have all this experience. And I may not have been the best and brightest when I was younger, but I was certainly the most enthusiastic and the hardest working. That also says a lot about people. Life is the best teacher we can have if we learn lessons. Yep. Chris says he owned the Cape Town metallurgy industry. Huge problem here in Canada with people coming in with fake education. Oh, look, fully, what's the figure now? I think it's 40% of all CVs are fraud. Fraud. We've done this before. Let me pull up my find here real quick. We've done this. We've talked about this before, but I'm just going to show you. And this is all true. And I have to read this occasionally. I may go back and look at it because I forgot that actually I did all these things. Okay. So I'm going to go to my CV, okay? All right, so close. I don't want that. Let me view. Is this Zoom? Come on, where's the view on this? There's Zoom. Where's the Zoom on this thing? There it is. Okay, so let's see if I can do this. I'm just going to point it out so you can see what I'm reading from, okay? So this is my CV, okay? There you go. All right. So Master of Strategic Studies, U.S. Army War College 2014. Master International Relations, summa cum laude, Troy University 2006. U.S. Army Command General Staff College 2004. Defense Language Institute with French with Honors 2000. Iowa State University, Ames, Iowa, International Development Studies 1997-99. BA History cum laude, Ohio University 1989. Honors, Distinguished Service Order Gold, Republic of Liberia, February 2022. Meritorious Honor Award, U.S. Department of State, April 20, yada, 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 yada. President's Data Brief. Professional Summary, extensive experience in defense, international development, security assistance, security cooperation, peacekeeping, education, and field experience in Africa, Europe, Southwest Asia, and North America. Employment history, radio host, principal and CEO of the Indaba Africa Group. Director of African Studies, U.S. Army War College, professor in the Department of National Security and Strategy at the Army War College with special concentration on global strategic issues and African affairs and their impact on U.S. national security, developed curriculum and taught numerous postgraduate level courses, including national security strategy, security sector reform, defense reform, joint and interagency policy, and African regional studies, strategic, diplomatic, military, and economic affairs. Served as a faculty advisor for students, a research advisor for multiple student strategic research project, which is a thesis. Conducted academic research with special emphasis on security cooperation, international political economy, health, development, and international institutions, and published relevant articles on national security, security sector reform, and African security issues. Produced podcasts on strategic issues. Colonel, U.S. Army, Senior Military Advisor, U.S. Mission to the African Union. Served as the Ambassador, Principal Military Advisor, and represented the U.S. Ambassador at the African Union and abroad, and as U.S. Africa Command Liaison Officer to the African Union. Coordinated all security assistance or security cooperation with the African Union, including counterterrorism fellowship training program, invitational travel, foreign military financing, African contingency operations training assistance program, gender-based programs, and Section 1206 counterterrorism. Reported on all peace and security programs, developments, and peace support operations, including the African Union mission in Somalia, AMISOM, the African Union mission to the Central African Republic, Mission Internationale de Soutien à la Centrafrique sous Conduite Africaine, MISCA, and the African Union support mission to the Ebola outbreak in West Africa, SWOA. Liaison with the African Union Military Attaché Community, 46 countries. Worked directly with the African Union Peace and Support Council, the Peace Support Operations Division, and the AMISOM Military Operations Coordination Committee, developed programs to support gender integration, security sector reform, disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration programs, military exercise, counterterrorism, coordination with NATO, and the African Union Peace Support Structure, the African Standby Force, the African Capacity for Immediate Response to Crises. That's all true. Every single statement, every single word there is factual. Not a single false claim. Not a single false claim. Yep. Not a single false claim. Everything is factual there. And it goes on. Andre says, white men who create all the benefits of Western civilization enjoyed by everybody have been betrayed by the woke ring. May Trump restore their dignity? I hope so, Andre. Canada imported huge numbers of Indians and Chinese that never had any intention of assimilating. They're getting looted, suffering infinite housing prices. Yeah. No, it's the same thing in Germany. You have mass numbers of people from the Middle East and from Afghanistan and Africa who've invaded Germany because of Angela Merkel and the policies in Germany. And now Germans being called racist because they don't like their daughters being molested, groped, and raped in Hallenbats and Schwimmbats. Or people, pissing on Christmas trees at Christkindlmark. No, that doesn't make them racist or xenophobic. It makes them honest. And these people who have no intention of integrating into society, you don't have to assimilate, but you can integrate. There's a difference. The Amish have not assimilated into American society. They have integrated into American society. So, yep. And next year, landing on the moon for Starship, says William. Okay. Sadly, they're short-sighted because they have not the experience in life like you and I, Flesh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What else we hear? So, okay, I already got this. Huge problem here in Canada with people coming with fake education documents. Nobody really checks. Work ethic does help too, correct? Being self-driven is a great motivator. Yep. All I can say is trust yourself. Well, we've taught her. I own the emergency services dispatch. Since I was not white, I never actually anywhere because we're municipal service. By the time I left, all supervisors had combined less years experience and service than I did. It was a joke. None of them were competent, in my opinion. Yeah, they probably not. Yeah, but that's what happens when you have DEI and you hire people based on that rather than based on competency. So what we'll always get when we have this conversation, particularly in the context of South Africa and even today, is that, well, it's not fair. It's not fair because other people have been discriminated against. Well, you've had 30 years to fix it. And your answer to ending discrimination and ensuring equal treatment should not be discrimination and unequal treatment of the minority. That is not how you solve things. The wrong-headed decision to force white educators out of public schools in the 1990s by the ANC and their racist move to eliminate Afrikaans speakers from schools was stupid. It was dumb because those teachers could have mentored new aspiring teachers who were black, colored, and Indian that came into the system. Instead, they were replaced en masse by incompetent, unqualified people. Simple as that. And education is nosedive between the theft and the incompetency. I mean, look, we just found a teacher who couldn't pass the matric in 2003, 2004, 2005, 2000. 4 years in a row, she couldn't graduate from high school, essentially. 4 years in a row. Yet she forged a matrix certificate with someone else's number. They didn't check on it. They hired her, or excuse me, they let her enroll in university based on that. And she graduated from Walter Sisulu University. What does that say about the quality of Walter Sisulu University and the students who attend it? I'll tell you what, somebody comes to me with a degree from Walter Sisulu University, I am not going to hire them. Not without a serious interrogation of their capabilities. They're not going to get hired because someone comes to me with a degree from Harvard University. That's not going to get them a job. Not going to get them a job. Their performance in an interview will get them a job. They'll earn that job. That all that piece of paper says is you can sit down and do what you're told to do. Unless it's a postgraduate degree. Then you've got some research goes on there. If Canada accepted my university entrance letter, then I possibly could have been an astronaut. 100% nailed. DI in our case, BE has killed the economy. Yeah, it has. Why? Because this is what happens. So the point that Vivek and Elon are going at about America distracted by culture, there's merit to it, but there's a reason for that. When you exclude people from the economy, what do? What did Black America do when they were excluded from succeeding in the economy? They relied on their faith and their family. By and large, Black families were tight-knit, close. There were no fatherless families overwhelmingly like there is today. And what did they do? They turned their skills and energy and their drive into things that were productive that we still benefit from today. Jazz, soul music, gospel, faith. These are things. And then the skills that many of them had eventually led them to become entrepreneurs. So like Johnson running BET, Black Entertainment Television, or Oprah Winfrey. So, just a bunch of nonsense going on here. So this is what happens when you don't hire people based on merit. You dumb down society. You dumb down outcomes. Every time you get the nonsensical stupidity, well, America's systemically racist, and it's racist because white people. Excuse me. It was old white men in 1965 that passed the Immigration Reform Act that we're living under today, that allowed for the visa lottery program, that allowed for thousands of people to come from all these countries. And who did they let come in the countries? Was it Irish? Was it German? Was it English? Yeah, some of those people came here. But the vast majority of people who come here legally since 1960 have been people of color from Africa, from Latin America, from Asia. Not white Europeans. Because their countries were, at the time, successful and thriving. They're not now, but they were. So the immigrants, by and large, were from those countries. And who let that happen? Was it the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortezes in Congress in 1965? Was it the Ilhan Omars in Congress in 1965? Was it the Ayanna Presleys in Congress in 1965? No. The only people in Congress in 1965 who are still there is frickin' Nancy Pelosi. She wasn't there in 65. Anyway, that's it. It was all white men, old white men. Yeah, that's who let all these people come to the country. They did that. Who passed the civil rights legislation in 1964? Black men, black women, Jews, women? No. Overwhelmingly old white men. Who passed the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment to the Constitution? White men in the northern states, while the states in rebellion were excluded from voting, while they weren't really back in the Union yet. White men ended slavery. White men died by the hundreds of thousands over the issue of slavery to preserve the Union. White men extended citizenship to enslaved peoples. White men extended the vote to the male of the former enslaved, not the female, in 1868, 78, 88, 98, 1908, 1918. 52 years later, 1920, women in this country, including white women, got the right to vote at the national level. 52 years after black men got it. Yet this is a systemically racist society. What a bunch of horse manure. What a crock. What a load. What a bunch of juvenile coffee table analysis by dingbat leftists and guilty white liberals who don't understand the history of their own country. Has anything been designed, invented, designed, developed by Africans in order to develop and make the world a better place, besides music, art, and handcraft? Yeah, there have been some industrial developments. There's some engineering things developed by Africans. Of course, Egyptians are Africans, even though the nature of Egyptians has changed dramatically ethnically as they've mixed with different groups, with Greeks and Phoenicians and and Persians and Nubians. But yes, there has been some contributions from Africans. Absolutely, absolutely. Classic lefty, one word, put down. What's that? All right, folks. Maybe we should wrap up here, okay? Mark Shuttleworth. Yeah, he's an African, yeah. Yep, all right. So anyway, we were all over today. All over as we wrap up this year. All over the place. Anyway, so I hope you're all having a good end of the year. By the way, I changed my keyboard. Listen. Is that better? It used to be so loud and annoying. My keyboard was having an issue with the N letter. It didn't like the N letter, so it would stick on me all the time. So I finally changed it last night because it was driving me nuts. I'll probably go back to it at some point because this one's a cheapie. It just lights up one color. The other one had much more functionality to it. Anyway, so when we do wrap up here, you'll be directed over to Ronaldo. And we lost another subscriber on the stream. That sucks. You're welcome, Dylan Jenkins. Good night. Have a great... Okay, you guys take care. All right. Have a good night, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget, at 2:30 today, which would be 9:30 South African time, I'll be covering the Munster-Leinster game. So that's just a couple hours away. So I'll see you guys on Rugby Ascendant for that. If Hendo's here, you can stick the link in for that. Lyndon Jean-Pierre, hello to you. I don't think I've ever seen you in the chat before. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas belatedly, and Happy Hanukkah if that's of your faith. Anyway, so so folks, I'll be on in 2:31, an hour and 42 minutes with Munster and Leinster, if you want to tune in for that. So thanks for joining us over there. Hakan says, British white men finished the transatlantic slave trade. How about that? True story, true story. Wilberforce and others ended slavery in the United Kingdom. The Haitians ended slavery in Haiti, but they murdered 40,000 French men and women. Gang raping, beheading, burning, looting, torturing. Horrible stuff. Horrible stuff. Anyway, that's going to do it for today, folks. Thanks a lot. Hopefully I'll see you on Rugby Ascendant. Cheers. God bless.